My name is Anthony Rosus, and I'm 49. For the past 10 years, I lived as if I didn't exist in my own daughter's world, a ghost she never acknowledged. She erased me so completely that even my name seemed to vanish from her memory. But everything changed recently when she resurfaced, needing something after her carefully constructed life crumbled. Let me take you back. I was 36 when my ex-wife, Vanessa, suddenly served me divorce papers. Our daughter, Kayla, was only 9. Vanessa didn't just leave me. She fought for full custody, painting me as emotionally unstable and insisting on supervised visits. It didn't matter that I had no history of anger or outbursts, that I coached Kayla's soccer team for years, or that I had built a stable home for her. In court, Vanessa's word was accepted as truth, and I wasn't given a chance to prove myself. I tried everything to stay in her life. Over $11,000 in legal fees, anger management classes I didn't need, just to show I was willing to improve. But nothing worked. Every court appearance brought a new story from Vanessa, fabricated tales of public meltdowns that never happened. The judge never questioned her. Kayla started drifting. Some days she'd hug me, ask when she could visit more. Other days, she recoiled, scared to even touch my hand. Vanessa was poisoning her against me, and it worked. When Kayla turned 11, Vanessa remarried. Her new husband, Craig Dalton, had the charm, wealth, and stability I didn't. A successful CEO with a big house, lavish vacations, and everything a child could want. He stepped into father role seamlessly, and Kayla embraced it. Over time, she became harder to reach. Phone calls stopped, visits disappeared. I once bought her a custom charm bracelet engraved with our initials, A and K, and went to deliver it on Christmas Eve. Vanessa opened the door, phone in hand, already recording. She accused me of violating the court order and called it harassment. 2 days later, a restraining order arrived. That was the last time I tried to see my daughter in person. Eventually, Vanessa even changed Kayla's last name to Dalton. I didn't find out until a friend sent me a social media post. Kayla at a charity event, wearing a Dalton roofing shirt, proudly calling Craig her father. That night, I sat alone at my kitchen table and cried. My daughter wasn't gone physically, but she was gone in every way that mattered. Years went by. I stayed in a small town 3 hours away, quietly working as an electrician, fixing old machines, keeping to myself. No wife, no child, just a quiet life with grease-stained hands and a stubborn heart. Then 2 weeks ago, I got a text. Can we talk? No name. I ignored it. The next day, it's Kayla. My chest tightened. After all these years of silence, there she was. I didn't respond. My co-worker, Harold, noticed me staring at my phone. She wants something, he said bluntly. And he was right. The third message confirmed it. Vanessa had died of pancreatic cancer, and Craig had taken his own life a week later. Now Kayla, grown, alone without the life she had known, was reaching out, not because she missed me, not because she'd changed, but because she needed help. Help with the funeral, the estate, the legal mess left behind. After years of treating me like a stranger, after letting another man walk her down the aisle, after erasing my role as her father, she was coming back for support, and I didn't know what to feel. Then my brother Leo showed up at my door, muffins in hand, like he was staging some intervention. She's your daughter, he said firmly. She's lost everything. You can't just ignore her. I fired back. She's been pretending I don't exist for 8 years. Leo didn't back down. He explained the full story. Kayla had kept Vanessa's diagnosis secret from everyone. No family members had to say goodbye. While Vanessa was dying, Kayla secretly sold a grandmother's house and kept the money. Vanessa's side of the family cut her off. Craig's adult children, whom Kayla had excluded from his life, were now suing her, claiming she manipulated him into rewriting his will and changing insurance beneficiaries while he was vulnerable. She was facing a brutal legal battle. With no allies except me, the father she tried to erase. Leo pleaded with me to call her. She was just a kid back then, he said. But let's be honest, she wasn't a kid when she sold property behind a dying woman's back. She wasn't a kid when she isolated Craig's family. She was 20, old enough to know exactly what she was doing. The next day, one last voicemail arrived from her. "Fine," she said bitterly. "Be the guy who never shows up like always. I'll tell everyone you abandoned me when I needed you most." Not an olive branch. A warning, like her mother always did. Turn the story upside down. Make me the villain. That was it. I blocked her number. If she wanted help, she could hire a lawyer like she used to. But it didn't end there. A week later, a subpoena arrived. Craig's children were suing, and now I was being pulled in as a witness. Everyone wanted to hear from the man Kayla had ghosted for years, the father she tried to erase. I walked into the courtroom not as a grieving dad, not as a loyal supporter, but as someone done being used. Jason, Craig's son, had summoned me. His lawyer asked immediately, "Are you Kayla Dalton's biological father?" "Yes," I said, steady. Not that it mattered, given how she treated me for a decade. The room went quiet. I told everything. The restraining order, the ignored visits, the name change, finding out about her wedding on Facebook. Then the bombshell. She hadn't even invited me. Her stepfather walked her down the aisle. She called me a danger, and now she wanted me to defend her in court over life insurance and estate rights. The judge raised an eyebrow. Jason's lawyer pressed. "Do you believe Kayla manipulated Mr. Dalton in his final months?" Without hesitation, I think Kayla learned a lot from her mother. How to use people, and discard them when they're no longer useful. Kayla didn't speak, dressed in navy beside her lawyer. She looked diminished, not physically, but emotionally hollow. The weight of her actions had caught up with her. She didn't deny it, cry, or explain. After court, I stepped outside. Jason followed. "My dad used to talk about you," he said. He always felt bad for stepping in. He wanted to reach out, but Vanessa wouldn't let him. "You're the only person who's told the truth in this whole mess. If you ever need work, I run a contracting firm. We need electricians." That hit harder than any of Kayla's angry words. Respect from the son of a man she allegedly manipulated meant more than I could say. Then, that night, a folded letter slid under my door. No envelope. My name scrawled across the front. From Kayla. "Dad, if you can still call yourself that." It read, "Thanks for proving what I suspected, that when life gets hard, you disappear. I came to you at my lowest, and instead of helping, you humiliated me in court. You burned every bridge we had. Want the truth? Craig hated you. He said, man, like you never change. Guess he was right. Goodbye." I read it again. Then I burned it in the kitchen sink. No more guilt. No more second-guessing. But the story had one last twist. 3 weeks later, Denise, a private investigator, called. She worked for one of Craig's former business partners. They suspected Kayla had forged documents before Craig's death. Denise asked if I had anything, emails, letters. I told her about the note, but it was gone. It didn't matter. They had the final will. And the signature didn't match Craig's known handwriting. A forensic analyst flagged it. This was no longer just a lawsuit. It was now a potential criminal case. Fraud, forgery, financial manipulation. If proven, Kayla could go to prison. When I told Leo, he went quiet, then muttered, "I didn't know it was that serious." "She's not a kid anymore," I said. "She's learning what consequences look like." Soon after, Kayla's lawyer called again. Wanted to settle quietly, repair her image, asking me to write a letter supporting her character. I laughed. Tell her to ask the man who walked her down the aisle. I said before hanging up, let her rebuild her life the hard way, without dragging mine down. Now, I wasn't being replaced. I wasn't the villain. I was free, and that felt better than any apology ever could.